missed last week because of Thanksgiving. We kind of got away from the both of us, I think. But so we're back this week. James, you are from home. We were literally just discussing it, but you actually have COVID now. A few weeks ago, you you thought you had it, never really got a definitive answer,
Yep.
and now you do have it. How are you feeling?
I feel a lot better today. I was pretty sick there for about 4 or 5 days though.
Was that last week?
Yeah, from like Friday till yesterday, basically.
Okay.
We're not ideal, let me tell you.
Not ideal?
No.
All right, let's go ahead and recap some football. I noticed you're wearing your Eagles shirt. You're not ready to jump off a bridge yet?
Kind of excited, honestly. I think it's going to get blown up. I haven't really seen that in a while, and last time we did it, it ended up working pretty well. I'm just, I don't know what's going to happen, man. I hope Lurie's tired enough. Because I get it, like, in theory, you want to get into it? I mean, there's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about, but we're already on subject, so let's go ahead and do it.
All right,
By the way, I love the mustache.
Thanks, man. I hope Lurie's sick enough to understand, because you would sit there and on paper you'd be like, Doug Peterson just won a Super Bowl 3 years ago. Why would you fire him? But if you've been watching the team, which obviously Lurie has, the arrow's been down on the team for multiple years in a row. And I think that's the sign. That's the only reason we fired Andy Reid. It wasn't that he wasn't good enough to be a coach for the Eagles anymore. It was he had 2 seasons in a row where they were, heading down. And at the end of that last season, they were really heading down. And I think they only won 4 games that year that they fired him. And it's looking like we're only going to win about 4 games this year. And I think that's just, listen, I think Doug Peterson will go be a really good head coach or a really good offensive coordinator somewhere else. He is a great coach.
He'll get another shot. He'll get another shot. Maybe not as a head coach right away, even though, I think that's kind of stupid. But he'll get an offensive coordinator job 1 or 2 years maybe. If he's successful, he'll get another head coaching job.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure he'll last the market if he gets fired this time around.
I agree, man, but we'll just come back to it. I mean, listen, Carson Wentz is just a bit. I mean, it even got to the point where you're like, dude, I can't even defend him anymore. But that's fine. If we got to deal with Wentz for 1 more season, what I'm hoping they do is I hope like the Colts will be like, all right, I hope the Eagles go, Colts, we'll give you Carson Wentz in a 3rd-round pick for like a 7th, like literally just to get rid of his contract. They would only have to deal with a crazy high salary 1 year. Like maybe they'd be fine with that. Chances are we're probably going to keep him again. So I just say, why not? I mean, we've seen him play very well at times. Why not go try a new coach if he sucks? Then you got Jalen Hurts right there. Or you can trade both of them the year after that and get a pick, and pick somebody else. I mean, I think there's a lot of things you can do. But I think it starts with getting just a whole fresh new coaching staff in here. I think this one's kind of spent. I mean, I think if you historically look at the league outside of, a couple jobs, usually coaches run their course about 6, 7, 8 years. And I mean, I think this is Peterson's only his 5th year, maybe his 6th year, but I think it's
Peterson,
time to go.
this is, I think, his 5th. 2016 was his first year.
Yeah, it's time for him to go, man, unfortunately. I like Dougie P, and I've always this is the thing. He's like a Pete Carroll, where he's not like absolutely amazing X's and O's. I mean, he's a really good offensive coordinator or offensive coach, just like Peterson's a good defensive coach. But he's just like a rah-rah kind of guy and more like a player's coach. And that shit just gets old to players after a few years. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they've been hearing that same. There's no offensive creativity, and they've been hearing the same.
Difference is Seattle has Russell Wilson. Philly doesn't really have. I mean, I love, like you said, I love Carson Wentz, but I'm finally to the point where I'm like, I've mailed it in. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. It's just getting hard. It was getting harder and harder to defend him, for a while, and I still don't think it's all on him.
It's not. And this is the last we'll talk about it because the Eagles suck, and I don't want to waste all our time talking about an absolute shitty team because of me, but. Dude, the reason I finally went out on Wentz is because, listen, dude, it doesn't matter how good you are, and this has always been my problem with Cam Newton. Dude, you have to be coachable, and Carson Wentz is not taking coaching. He's still saying after games, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do what I have to do, and it's like, dude, it's not working. It's the 5th year. We've been talking about your potential for literally 5 years. You've hit it for stretches. You've hit it for a whole season before you got hurt, but like. I'm tired of talking about it, dude. You have to be able to check the ball down. You have to be able to throw the ball away. You have to be able to know down and distance and know what the hell you're doing in situational football like you used to. I mean, it's not like it's not there. I've seen it. Dude, he's had multiple seasons where he's been in the top 5 in red zone and on third down. So I know he has that in him. I don't know what the problem is. I think he'd do really well if he got a new team. I think if he got a change of scenery, he'd be really good. I really do.
Sorry, I'm eating apple pieces.
No, it's okay. I'm eating too. Like, he just that's it, man. He's not coachable, and that's his problem right now. Like the team, Howie Roseman's built a very slow, old, shitty team, which really hurts him. But you know what, dude? It's not an excuse to play as bad as you played at stretches, and especially this year. I mean, you've legitimately been the worst quarterback in the NFL. I never thought I'd say that about Carson Wentz ever.
It's not fair. I'm not sure it's fair. He's been sacked 46 times. We still have 5 games left of the season, and he's been sacked 46 times in 11 games. That's insane.
Oh, that's what I would say. I'd never say like, oh, it's all Carson Wentz. Like,
no, and to mention, he has receivers who can't get open. Alshon Jeffrey's checked out. He's been checked out for years.
Doesn't care.
Yeah, doesn't care. And I do think Peterson cares. I think they both care. I think they're just both trying to do too much. They're trying to overcompensate, which
I agree, man.
is the deal. I think it probably is time, and I didn't say this weeks ago. I thought, no, give it another year, but I think you're getting to the point now where maybe you do just strip it down. And I do think the Colts would be a really good landing spot for Carson Wentz. We talked about it on Sunday night. The Colts are doing really well this year. They're 7-4 with Phillip Rivers. So it's crazy to think that they could be better, but I actually think they would be better with Carson Wentz under center than Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers isn't that good. He looks great against Green Bay, but he looked awful last week.
I mean, Frank Reich got the best season out of
Carson
Wentz. So,
and that's my other point with the Eagles and why you can argue it's time to rebuild, because outside of that 2017 season, Doug Peterson's record has to be below 500 now with the season that he's had, because it was 7-9. Exclude 2017. It was 7-9, and then I think 9-7, 9-7. Now 3-7-1, I believe, right now. So what? 5 games below? Not 5 games. Roughly 2 or 3 games below 500.
And now that's what they were saying about Wentz and Peterson. They were like,
both of them.
They got 20. Like, dude, we got to stop talking about 2017.
Yes.
You could realistically talk about it in 2018, 2019, dude. It's about to be 2021. Like that didn't happen.
I think of the argument with Mike McCarthy as well. Look, the Super Bowl, by the time we fired him, was 8 years prior.
Exactly.
And
you can't ride that forever. Man.
We had been trending. So from 2010 to 2014, the Packers went 10-6, won the Super Bowl, 15-1. What was it? 11-5, 8-7-1, but that Rodgers got hurt that year, and then 12-4, NFC Championship game. Should have probably won the Super Bowl that year in 2014. And then after that, though, it was 10-6 in a wild card. 2016, 10-6 in a NFC Championship spot. That kind of saved his job for a year. Rodgers gets hurt in 2017, saved his job again. 2018, though, Rodgers was healthy, somewhat healthy, and we finished below 500. Just regressed basically every year. So I think it's a similar argument.
About the needle pointing down. It doesn't matter. Oh, we went to the playoffs last year for the Eagles. It's like, who cares, dude? You eked in at the last second because the division sucked. Like it. You can actually say the years that were even 9-7 were kind of inflated because we're getting 5 and 6 wins in the fucking division every year, dude. Yeah. It's like it's dumb, man. They got to blow it up.
Let's go ahead and talk about it though. Who's going to win the NFC East? Because I'm off the train. I'm off the Philly train. I'm going to say right now, don't count out any team because I showed you the schedules the rest of the way, and I think the Eagles actually had the second easiest just in terms of win-loss record. Dallas was first. I think Philly was second, and I think Washington and the Giants might have been tied for last. I don't remember, but I wouldn't count out either team. They're all within a game of each other, just about.
Yeah, I mean they're all definitely in it. I think. Realistically, I think it's going to be the Redskins. I think the way that
football
they're playing
team.
is the football team. I think they're built for like late in the season football. I think Gibson is pounding the rock. Terry McLaurin is a beast, dude.
Yes.
The fact that he has as many receiving yards as he does with who's been throwing to him is insane.
I would say the Giants if Daniel Jones was healthy, but he got hurt. It's unclear how long he's going to be out.
That and if they had Saquon, I'd realistically say they had a much better chance too. Because like now that they're not so reliant on Saquon, you can tell that they're actually dispersing the ball around a little bit. I think he'd really benefit from all that. But I think it's going to be one of those two. So
yeah, I don't see the Cowboys doing it. They've been a mess. Eagles just can't get it done. I can't put much trust in them right now. Giants, I would if Daniel Jones was healthy, but he's hurt now. I don't know how long he's going to be out. And their next 3 games are brutal. I think they have. I know the Ravens. I think. Gosh, I can't remember who else. But it's a brutal next 3 weeks. Washington's schedule, while isn't easy, I think it's manageable. They get the Steelers at home this week, coming off a short week. You know, Steelers play. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon. Steelers play today, and here in about an hour, and they'll have to play Washington at Washington off a short week on Monday night. I think Washington could easily win that game. They have a good pass rush. They're running the ball very well with that Antonio Gibson dude. Rookie, I think. Terry McLaurin's been playing well. Alex Smith, I can trust Alex Smith a little bit.
How can these shitty
and also, I like Ron Rivera.
How can these shitty franchises find such good players in late rounds, and the Eagles can't even draft good players in the first round? I don't get it.
I saw. So the Green Bay media has had a field day with the Eagles. So the argument all offseason was how Green Bay is going to regress because they didn't draft any skill players. Well, on paper we've regressed, but we have actually been better offensively, despite not really drafting any skill position players. And Green Bay media has said, wait, how are the Eagles not good? Because they've drafted a receiver, tight end, like all these skill position players in the last couple of years, but whiffed on them, it looks like. Right now, at least.
Dude, you have Devontae Adams.
I know.
You can have Devontae Adams and me, and I'll get a few catches out there.
I know. So let's talk about something else. I'm trying to recap. What's going on with the Bucs?
I don't know, man. Their highs are high and their lows are very low, which doesn't bode well for the playoffs, man.
It's time. I don't think I probably overreacted it during the game, and I said it's time to start talking about the Bucs not being that good. I think I overreacted. However, I'm not overreacting when I say it's time to start talking about the Bucs defense being overrated.
Yeah, they have seriously regret, and I don't even know if you can call it regression because just because the defense was good for 3 or 4 weeks doesn't mean it's a good defense.
We still think of this defense as the one that came out, picked Aaron Rodgers off twice, had a pick six, dominated the Packers up front. But since then, let me pull it up here. I think I texted you that they're allowing close to 25 points per game defensively since that game against Green Bay, and I think that's actually more since they gave up 27 to Kansas City, and I didn't count that. So slightly over that. Brady and the offense aren't meshing. He's thrown quite a few turnovers in his last few games. They lost 3 out of 4. But, however, they got a bye week coming up. You look at the rest of the schedule, I think it's very likely they win out.
What's their schedule look like? Do you know?
I know they have Minnesota right off a bye week, and then they got Atlanta twice, and I can't remember the other game. It was maybe Carolina. It was a bunch of games where you're like, they ought to be the favorite.
Okay.
Let me pull it up. So, bye week this week. Minnesota at home, at Atlanta, at Detroit, no coach, and then Atlanta at home again.
Yeah, it's not.
I could see easily see 11-5. I do actually think they might slip up somewhere. Like Atlanta's playing better.
Yeah, pretty good.
I wouldn't say
agree.
well, but better. And
dude, they
at
just beat
Atlanta,
the shit
that
out
could
of
be
the
a
Raiders.
tricky game.
They beat the shit out of the Raiders, dude.
I know. The Raiders. Let's talk about them. The Raiders look awful, and that was a game I felt so confident in the Raiders.
They make no sense, dude. The fucking Raiders make no sense to me, dude.
I can't figure them. I shouldn't say I can't figure them out. The team I can't figure out is the Rams.
No, the Rams are good.
I know they're good, but
no, the Rams are good.
You're right. I'm overreacting. Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number.
That's just, dude. I was just about to say the games that they lose, they get out coached.
Yeah.
Like that. That's why they lose. Like because, dude, if Sean McVay's on, Jared Goff is like a top 5 quarterback. Obviously, he's not outside of that system, but you know what I mean. Like he can put up gaudy ass numbers.
So we're kind of just bouncing around here. But I told you on Monday night, I believe, that if I woke up Tuesday and the media was slobbering over Seattle, I'm going to lose it. And sure enough, I woke up Tuesday and the media is slobbering over Seattle.
Dude, DK Metcalf is so sick.
So, yes, he looks very good. And I saw a graphic that said in their first 27 games, DK Metcalf's numbers are better than Calvin Johnson. While impressive, I want to put some context for everyone out there. Calvin Johnson waited 2 seasons before he got a competent quarterback in Matt Stafford, and as a rookie. And even at his best, Matt Stafford was not a top 10 quarterback with Calvin Johnson.
No, he wasn't.
DK Metcalf enters the league, while incredibly talented, inherits a top 3 quarterback in the game right now, and Russell Wilson playing at the prime of his career. Let's slow down. I would still take Calvin Johnson over DK Metcalf any day of the week.
Let's speed up. No, let's speed up. Dude, did you watch that game?
He was good. He was good.
Bro. Darius Slay was on him, okay? Not a schlub, okay? Not as good as he used to be, but is legitimately having almost a Pro Bowl level year. He doesn't have any picks, but he's really... Dude, every time they throw him the ball, dude, he can catch short routes because he's fucking huge and you can't jam him, and then he can just run right by you if you even stand 5 yards off of him. Like, you have to touch him at the line or he's going to burn you. He can just kind of box you out on, like, slant and crossing routes and shit. Like, dude, he's insane. He's insane.
So I want to get back to my Seattle beef here. So I woke up Tuesday morning, and sure enough, the media is just giving Seattle all sorts of credit when they wouldn't give the credit to Green Bay Sunday night for destroying Chicago. They were all shrugged. Chicago, they suck. Well, true. 100% true. But then Seattle goes out and doesn't even play all that well against Philly. Scores 23 points. I don't know how many of those were off turnovers. At least a field goal was off a turnover. I'm tired of hearing about Seattle. They really, I don't want to say struggled, but underwhelmed against Philly. And then here's the rest of their schedule. I'm going to have to hear this the next 3 weeks. They got the Giants without Daniel Jones, the winless Jets, then they play the football team on the road. That might be tricky. I'll give them something there. Then they got the Rams at home, and then the 49ers on the road. They could easily finish. They could win the rest of those games, be 13-3, and I'll have to hear how great Seattle is until the playoffs. I'm going to lose my mind.
Nah, dude. Realistically, they're probably going to lose pretty early in the playoffs unless Russell Wilson goes like super.
I have to hear them say they figured out their defense. I'm like, they had 6 or 7 sacks against Philly, the same team that's given up 4 sacks a game statistically all season.
Literally, dude.
I'm tired of it. Who else were we talking about? The Titans destroyed the Colts.
Dude,
that was very surprising. I took the Colts in that one.
No, so did I. And dude, the Titans are. AJ Brown is sick. Like that's
really
another. Just like DK Metcalf.
Both those Ole Miss dudes. I understood why DK Metcalf wasn't drafted higher because he was coming off that nasty leg injury. But I don't get A.J. Brown. That was a dude, he ran like a 4.4 at the combine, and all I heard was how he can't create separation. I'm like, he runs a 4.4. Like,
dude, he played on the same team as DK and just absolutely dominated statistically. So,
how those dudes, I think both were drafted in the second round, right?
No, yes.
Who else was drafted in the first round that year?
In the first round for receivers?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Jerry Jeudy season? No, that would be the rookie season last year. I don't know. That's a good question.
Marquise Brown was one, and N'Keal Harry was the other. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
2 receivers drafted, and N'Keal Harry's not that good. I know he's had some injuries. Marquise Brown's all right when he wants to be, but you got 2 stud receivers drafted in the second round, and A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. More evidence that what I've said, not to mention Mecole Hardman was also drafted in the second round.
Yep.
As I've said for months, you don't need to draft a receiver in the first round.
No, you don't. Unless you're the Philadelphia Eagles.
Speaking of wide receiver, what do you think about my team getting Tavon Austin?
It's awesome. I love Tavon still being in the league, even though he sucks.
So, I worry the way I acted on Twitter and the way I texted you. You probably thought I thought this was a legitimate move. You know, I'm like, oh, this puts us over the top, whatever. No, I'm just excited as a WVU fan. I've never really had a WVU player that I loved, go play for Green Bay. Some I've
Yeah.
played in Green Bay, but not guys that I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Like Don Barclay was one. I liked Don Barclay. He was really good at West Virginia. And decent in Green Bay. Offensive lineman. Adam Pankey, decent college player. Played at Green Bay for a year or two. I like those guys. They're not Tavon Austin.
No,
I love Tavon Austin. Now,
Love
I will
Tavon.
say, this move isn't really going to do much, I don't think. It's very similar to when we got Tyler Irvin last year. He's a gadget player.
He's your Randall Cobb. Poor man's Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb's a better receiver. But,
That's what I'm saying. He's your poor man's Randall Cobb.
yeah, he's there because Tyler Irvin's hurt, and now we desperately need a return game. That's why you bring Tavon Austin in. He is a good returner. But also, you put him in on offense, and it does shake things up because defenses have to account for him. Defensive coordinators know, hey, this dude ran a 4.2 40 at the combine. You might want to guard him, or else he is going to take it to the house. Other than that, he's not going to do much. He's just a distraction for Devontae Adams.
But that helps.
It does. A little bit. But it does take at least another dude off the field, probably.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to think of what else. Green Bay dominated Chicago. I'll talk about my Packers for a second. Look, that was impressive, I guess. But it's the Bears. They're not any good. Mitch Trubisky was awful.
It's the second place team in your division, though.
No, not anymore. It's Minnesota. Minnesota has the tiebreaker. But Chicago, come on, dude. Mitch Trubisky made horrible throws.
I agree.
He made horrible throws that whole game. He threw it deep in the end zone and Darnell Savage picked it off. Well, he picked him off twice, but the first time he had someone underneath, no one within 10 yards of him. Green Bay's defense not within 10 yards of him. Trubisky throws it over the top, picked off in the end zone. The other interception, Savage badly played and still picked him off. Trubisky's not any good. I'm not gonna sit here and say that we were impressive. Offensively, I thought we were. Because Chicago, even though they were without Akeem Hicks, has a very good defensive front. Khalil Mack was nowhere to be seen the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard Aaron Rodgers say on the Pat McAfee show he tried to get a lot of plays away from Khalil Mack, which is an easy way to not have him make an impact. But just my opinion. I will say offensive line dominated. I think once again we lead the league in win rate and pass blocking and run blocking. And I heard Colin Cowherd say on a show how Green Bay doesn't have an offensive line. I'm like, dude, Khalil Mack was a non-factor. We're winning, or we're leading the NFL in win rate, pass blocking and run blocking. You're gonna sit here and say the offensive line's just okay?
Yeah, like what else do you need?
I don't know. Trying to think what else can we talk about. What about the Broncos? Or I'll tell you what, we'll preview this Wednesday night game a little bit. Ravens Steelers. Since there's no Thursday night game, it's been postponed at least twice, maybe 3 times.
3 times.
It's craziness. What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm just glad they're playing it, honestly, because I didn't want them to kind of fuck the season up with the different.
Me too. I want to say though. I don't know about it anymore, but at first, I think Baltimore was trying to chicken shit its way out of playing this game.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, I'm glad you think so because
no, they were. It was actually me and my friends.
Because it was convenient how after Lamar Jackson was ruled out, I believe they all of a sudden were like, okay, nobody come in, we're shutting this down, we're gonna take this seriously, whatever. And I'm like, hold on. Once Lamar Jackson goes down with this, you're all of a sudden going to contain this virus and you want to push back the game? I'm like, this is not, we're worried about this. This is, we don't want to play a division rival at 6-4, and we're already on the, we're already trending down. We've lost, I think, 3 out of 4. We lose this game without Lamar Jackson. It's 6-5. I think you're on the outside looking in the playoff right now. And if you look at the AFC, I was projecting win-loss. There's a very good chance all of the wildcard teams in the AFC are like 11-5.
No, I know.
It's a very, I don't want to say weak, but the AFC this year I think is very, very top-heavy, and the bottom's horrible, and they're just winning those games. And I legitimately think that Cleveland and I think maybe Oakland, I don't remember which teams, I was like, they could easily finish 11-5.
Yeah.
And if you're Baltimore, you would have to win out. And if you don't know how long Lamar Jackson's going to be there, there's a very good chance you're on the outside looking in during this last playoff push.
Damn, I didn't even think of that. They actually might miss the damn playoffs.
I mean, they're right now they're a game behind Cleveland in the division. They lose tonight, it's 2 games. They do have the tiebreaker though, and they do still have to play. But even then, that would only mean a game behind. They need Cleveland to start losing games. The problem is, this is Cleveland's schedule. Let me pull it up.
Not hard. I'm hyped.
I don't think it's that hard. I looked at it and I thought they might be 13-3.
I hope they go 12-4. That'd be so sick.
Okay, so I shouldn't say that. Not 13-3. They got Tennessee on the road. Likely won't win that game. Then Baltimore at home. They can win that game.
Especially without Lamar.
Exactly. Then they're at the Giants, winnable game. At the Jets, very winnable game. Pittsburgh at home. So 13-3 was a bit of a stretch, but they could easily be 12-4, 11-5.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
I'd love to see Cleveland in the playoffs. It'll only go to the wild card. I want to see that city get a home game in the playoffs, but the way that Pittsburgh's trending, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Is Pittsburgh going to finish unbeaten?
No.
Dude, look at the schedule.
They're going to set Big Ben and shit at the end of the season.
Probably. But Baltimore at home tonight still without Lamar Jackson. I don't know, though. I think I've read that he might play, actually. But I think even with Lamar, I think they'll win tonight. Washington at home. I thought I read it was on the road. But Washington at home, winnable. At Buffalo, that is their toughest game left. Or, yeah, I would still say toughest game. At Cincinnati, without Burrow, that's a W. Mm-hmm. Then they got Indianapolis at home. Tricky game. I'd still take the Steelers. And then at Cleveland. Like you said, that last week, they're probably setting Big Ben and everyone else. So you're probably right. They probably finished 14-2, is my guess.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, we're going to do a preview show after, tomorrow or something, right?
You mean picks or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. I don't have that ready right now. I know that so far we've done pretty well in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But I have gained ground.
I know, I'm sick, man. I've had a bad couple weeks.
College. This is a good time to talk about some college football. COVID is running rampant through college football.
It is.
I had 12 games for us to pick last week, and only 10 were played. I think the playoff right now is a mess. It's a 2-team race. Alabama, Clemson. I'm not sure Ohio State's going to get in because their game this week is in jeopardy against Michigan State. If they don't play it, they don't fill the requirements to play in the NFL, the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, man, that shit's going to be crazy.
Now, I think the Big Ten's going to step in and be like, no, Ohio State, you're going to play this game because they need a team in the playoff. Because all of us, Monday morning, I remember reading, this game's in doubt. I think I woke up today and they said, or maybe yesterday, and they already said Ohio State was back on the practice field. Mm-hmm. I'm like, shocker. That it's going to come to that. Shocker. They're going to play this game. Which, good for them, I guess. I don't want to see games get canceled.
Yeah, same.
But, very legitimate chance Ohio State doesn't play in the playoff. And I was going through this scenario with my buddies. Ohio State doesn't get in the playoff because it doesn't have a chance to win the Big Ten. If Florida can beat Alabama, I think, if its defense shows up. If Notre Dame beats Clemson again, Clemson's out. Ohio State's likely out. That leaves a spot. You know who that's going to go to, probably?
Let me guess. Hold on.
Maybe?
I don't know. Who?
Cincinnati.
That'd be fucking awesome.
That would be awesome. I do like the Bearcats a little bit. I think they could hang with some of these top teams, not Alabama or Clemson, but like a Florida or Texas A&M, a team like that. I think they could hang around and potentially win.
That'd be sweet.
It would take a lot for that to happen. I would probably more likely Alabama has to beat Florida because that would knock Florida out. Texas A&M might sneak in that scenario, but if Florida beats Alabama, I think Florida would jump Texas A&M, even though A&M has the head-to-head. But Alabama or Notre Dame would be in. Then you got probably Florida or A&M, and then a fourth team. If Ohio State can't get in, Bearcats.
I just can't imagine Ohio State not getting in. But yeah, like you said, they wouldn't.
I really think the committee would look at Ohio State and be like, "Look, you can't get in with 4 games. Cincinnati, by the time this regular season is over, could be 13-0.
Yeah,
I think you got to reward them for it.
Nah, 100%. I agree. It'd be sweet.
It would be sweet. I wouldn't mind seeing it. If it was like a Western Michigan, I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
Just
but
personally,
Cincy's legit.
Cincinnati's a legit Group of 5 team, and I do want to see that. Kind of want to see that happen.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
All right, we filled a decent amount of time here. You got anything else to talk about?
I think so. Football's pretty slow for me because fucking West Virginia didn't play because of COVID, and the Eagles suck. So
Yeah, we'll talk about the Mountaineers. I do want to give the Mountaineers basketball team a shout out real quick though.
Huggins thinks they're going to be good. We're playing Gonzaga tomorrow,
It's
right?
tonight.
We play Gonzaga tonight?
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
And that's why I was giving them a shout out. So we played 3 games last week. What's up? Yeah, they tweeted it out today. Well, they tweeted it out last week, confirming it, but they already tweeted out the start time tonight. It's tonight, dude. And I work for the paper. We ran a story about how it's tonight.
I'm hyped. Let's go. That's sweet.
So we won 3 games last week. If you look at the schedule, it's not very impressive. It's South Dakota State, VCU, and Western Kentucky. However, I do think all 3 of those teams will probably end up being tournament teams, at least 2 out of 3. Then we got Gonzaga tonight. I'll tell you right now, if we win this game, I'm going to be shocked because we can't.
Yeah, I was going to say
we can't score a basket, and they're averaging like 97 points per game this year. If our defense shows up and we can make some shots, we got a pretty good shot. But
I know, but Huggins loves this team. He said this is one of the best teams he's had in like 10 years.
I do think I went through it with my buddies. I do think this is the most talented team we've had since the Final Four, bar none.
That's awesome.
And I would argue if you go through it kind of position by position and like position by position and dudes off the bench, it's more talented.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't really have anything else. We've killed about 30 minutes here. I wouldn't mind to keep talking, but I also do have some stuff to do.
Yeah, I do too.
How about the Patriots beating the Cardinals?
That was a good call on your part.
I did. That's the call that put me over the top. I
was very surprised.
Cardinals are good. The problem is I don't have any faith in Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's a very good offensive mind. I think he's a very good quarterback developer. I don't think he's much of a head coach, X's and O's guy. Going up against Bill Belichick on the road, I was like, I'm going to be, sound crazy. Give me Belichick in this game. I think he's going to find a way. And he did. Barely, but he found a way.
No, that's impressive, dude, that you called that, seriously.
But the Cardinals now, I think, are 6-5. It's going to be tough to get in if they keep trending this way. And the NFC North ain't easy.
Yeah, I know.
Dolphins beat the Jets, not a huge surprise. The Browns struggled with the Jaguars, which is very surprising. I'll give the Jaguars credit. I mean, they hang around with teams. They're trying for Doug Marrone. I don't think it's going to save them because they already fired the GM this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it necessarily should either.
Yeah, I don't either. Doug Marrone's not the guy there. I don't know who they would hire. I really don't. They don't have a quarterback. I know you can bank on a draft pick, but so what was the deal with the Broncos with their COVID situation? Just the quarterback room?
They didn't have a quarterback.
I know. But the game was supposed to be a forfeit, and
they were playing emergency QBs. That's why I got mad at them. Like, dude, the fucking Broncos just played like basically without a quarterback. Like, you guys are gonna have to play here.
Who are you talking about?
The Broncos. Like, the Broncos played without a quarterback.
Well, I thought you were talking about another team though.
Well, then I said that's why I was mad at the Ravens. I'm like,
the Ravens.
Broncos
Okay.
played without
No.
Like,
the Ravens are pussying out.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want to play this game and potentially lose and go down even more in this division.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
So we previewed a little bit. Sorry, I guess you're still sticking with the Steelers pick.
Yeah.
Regardless, I am too. Baltimore's not playing well. I will say, though, I think these postponements might affect the Steelers.
Yeah.
Probably will affect them more next week, but this is going on 5 days in a row. I saw, I think, Chris Collinsworth post on Twitter a picture of him in his hotel room in Pittsburgh. It was like, going on 5 days, still waiting to call this game. I was upset when Green Bay played Sunday night. I was upset. I was like, I want Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth to call this game. And I got Mike Tirico and Tony Dungy. And I remembered, that's right, they were probably calling that Baltimore-Pittsburgh game.
Yeah.
And they still waiting to call that game until an hour from now.
I'm hyped for that, though.
I'm very much looking forward to some Wednesday afternoon football.
Yeah, never happens. I love it.
All right, my man. I'll let you go. Stay safe with your COVID. How much longer are you quarantining?
Until Sunday.
Until Sunday, then you're back at it?
Yeah.
Are you working at all?
I'm working from home a little bit, yeah.
All right. I'll let you go, my man. Watch some football.
All right.
Oh, hell yeah. Love you, man.
Love you.